Thank you, Robin. So, as Robin mentioned, my name is Ian Kettle, and I was the lead exterior designer on the Volvo XC40. Now, Robin mentioned that we looked at modern product design when doing the creative phase of this car. For me, modern product design was best exemplified by a number of science fiction movies I was watching during the sketching phase of this car. And in these science fiction movies, there's a lot of really beautiful kind of modern robotic design. And that led me down to a theme for this car when describing it. When describing it, I'd often call it a tough little robot. Now, what do I mean by this? Well, I'm just going to talk you through some of the design elements on here that relate to that. Starting at the front of the vehicle, when you look at the car from front view, you can see our Volvo grille shape supported by the Thor's hammer. However, when you move around to the side, you see that what we did was we took that grille shape and we inverted it and changed the ending of the Thor's hammer, speaking to that idea Robin mentioned of this car being a little cousin rather than a little brother to our XC90 and XC60 cars. Supporting that, you can see there's a very strong brake in the hood, giving the car this very nose-down, kind of tough attitude. Moving around to the side of the car, what I wanted to do with this car was to be able to sketch it with just one line, so it had a very clear graphic and spoke a very modern language. And for me, that one line started here at the base of the A-post, went around the front of the hood, kicked up here, went over the cant rail, came back down, and kicked up under the side glass. The effect of this is to have a car that can be defined in one line, but it also creates these beautifully scalloped sections, both front and rear. The other effect of this, by kicking the lines up here, is that we get rid of a conventional shoulder line. So we have a very full, beautiful, modern section through here, supported again by another scallop shape down below, again speaking this youthful language. Now, from the outset, we wanted color materials design to be very much included in the process and very integral. And that is best exemplified by our contrast roof. Now, this is not just paint slapped on top of the car. If you look at this area closely, you can see everything is resolved, every line interacts, every line ends correctly, much like the modern product design and robotic design that I was using as inspiration. Now, all this talk of product design doesn't mean we'd forgotten how to design a good-looking car. Now, this car is wider at the rear than it is at the front, so it has a fantastic stance and sits so well for a car in this segment, with this beautiful section running down here. Finally, on the exterior, at the rear of the car, you can see we have our classic Volvo vertical lamps. But again, speaking to the idea of this car being a cousin rather than a little brother or sister, the lamp is contained within a single unit, and within that, a very modern graphic and a robotic eye looking out the rear of the car. Now, if we talk just a little bit about the interior, our interior team had the same kind of theme that we did, where they wanted to create a new car, not just a scaled version of our 90 and 60 cars. So yes, we have the SPA screen and SPA play module within this car, but there is a new architecture to the dashboard, made up of 3 distinctive, beautiful islands connected by bridges, very much inspired by the Gothenburg archipelago where this car was designed. Within these bridges, you see the deco pieces are inlaid, and that there's ambient lighting really accentuating the width of this car. This deco piece extends into the door, where we were working again very closely with our color materials designers. Often, you have felt in the door pocket to stop any rattle. In this instance, we wanted the carpet felt to run all the way from the floor up the inside of the door. So that created a beautiful contrast to the rest of the door design, again speaking this graphical product design approach that we did to the rest of the car. Now, we mentioned earlier on that storage was a very important part of this car. Finding smart storage solutions was built into the interior from the outset. And there are a multitude of very, very excellent smart storage solutions throughout the interior. I'm just going to touch on a few of these. Sticking with the door, we removed the bass speaker from the door and put it into the dashboard. The effect of this is you get a much larger door pocket, large enough for laptops, large iPads, multiple bottles of drink, whatever. Within the center tunnel, starting at the rear, the underarm storage is enormous for a car in this segment, large enough to contain a standard-sized tissue box. In front of that sits a waste bin, a removable waste bins for all that junk that you might accumulate in day-to-day lives. At the front of the tunnel, there is a dedicated storage space for your smartphone, under which there is wireless charging, so you can put your phone there, no cables charging. Now, all of these smart storage solutions, along with the other ones you'll find in the car, speak very much to our Scandinavian design heritage of creating beautiful yet functional objects. Now, it's not just me who's very proud about this car. All of Volvo Cars is very proud about this car. And before I can ask you to come forward, I'd just like to mention there's 3 more cars outside to take a look around in, along with many of my colleagues who'll be very happy to show you around.